You don't know? You should know. My name is Reynolds. That was really fucking queer. Anyway, hello. Today I'm taking the political compass test. I mean, I've done this test a few times over the last 18 months, and in the last 18 months my political views have been very liquidy. They flow, they change, but now is the first time in a long period where I felt like my views on things have been very consistent and steady for a while. I thought now was a better time than ever to take this test. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. I strongly agree. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. No, if it was wrong, I'm not going to support it. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it is foolish to be proud of it. I completely agree with that. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. I think that's called racism, so I'm going to say disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, the best way I can actually answer this is to take my own real life situations and compare how I acted. Onision is an enemy of mine. He's also an enemy of countless people on Tumblr. I cannot stand those people on Tumblr, and I'm not their friends. So the answer is no, I strongly disagree. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I'm going to disagree rather than strongly disagree. I think that there are laws in place for a reason, and they should be respected. But you never know just what will turn up, so there could be some situation that no one's ever thought about that could require laws to be broken. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. I don't think that's worrying. I think people become more informed because they're being entertained as they're being informed. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. I think that's very fair to say. Very few rich, really rich people hang around with really poor people, whereas you will get countless black people hanging with white people, Asians hanging with Mexicans, etc. Controlling inflation is far more important than controlling unemployment. I strongly agree. Unemployment is not necessarily a bad thing. There is always going to need to be unemployed people in the world. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. I agree, but I also disagree. This isn't something that I've got a strong opinion either way. I understand the arguments on both sides. If you ask me this question 5 times a different day, each day of the week, I'd probably be a different answer every day. So I'm just going to say I disagree, because in principle, I don't think companies should be regulated by the government. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea. No, I do not think that communism is a good idea in any sense. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. I disagree. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I agree, but I also disagree. I don't think people should really buy land, but I don't think there should be anything stopping them from buying land. So I'm going to say I disagree. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society. I strongly agree with that. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I agree with that. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. I agree with that. The rich are too highly taxed. I think everyone is too highly taxed. I strongly agree with that. Those with the ability to pay should have the right to higher standards of medical care. Morally, I don't think anyone would say they agree with this, because everyone's going to feel bad that rich people, oh, we can cure our cancer, but you're going to die in the streets with yours. I think everyone agrees that, and from a moral standpoint, this is wrong. But from principles and from just simple capitalism and from just the way society works and should work, I think this is right. Government should penalise businesses that mislead the public. If you're led astray and fooled by a business, then shame on you. That's your problem for being an idiot. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. I agree. The freer the market, the freer the people. I don't strongly agree or disagree, but I do more agree than disagree, so I will say agree. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Disagree. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I agree with this, but personally, I say 2 eyes for an eye, 2 teeth for a tooth. My philosophy goes, always one up the other person. He slaps you, you punch him. He punches you, you kick him. He kicks you, you stab him. He stabs you, you shoot him. He shoots you, you go kill his family. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theatres or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Strongly agree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Strongly disagree. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Strongly disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Strongly agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Strongly agree. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Disagree. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to produce. Strongly agree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. Strongly disagree. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Strongly agree. When you are troubled, it is better to not think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Strongly agree. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country. I think that's the case often, but not always. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Strongly disagree. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Strongly agree. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. Agree. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. You couldn't really say that isn't an advantage. It certainly is an advantage. It'd be silly to say otherwise. The thing is, it's a terrible idea. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly disagree. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Disagree. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything should not be considered art at all. Disagree. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Disagree. It is a waste of time to try and rehabilitate some criminals. Agree. The business person and manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I think the business person and the writer are just as important. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Disagree. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. I agree with that. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Strongly disagree. Astrology accurately explains many things. The only thing astrology tells us is who is stupid enough to believe it. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Although I'm probably not the best person to say that, since I'm not religious, but I'm also not very moral. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I'd agree with that. Some people are naturally unlucky. Well, I don't think luck is real, but I'm sure, yeah, some people are born into bad circumstances, whereas others are born into good circumstances. I don't think that's anything to do with luck, though. I don't like the word luck. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and I'll just say agree. It is important that my child's school instill religious values. Strongly disagree. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. A same-sex couple in a stable living relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Agree. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Strongly agree. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Completely agree with that. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Disagree. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I strongly disagree. I actually think it should go further. And here is my political compass. As you can see, I'm lower right. I'm libertarian right wing. Usually I do get around this same spot when I take the test the last few times. And as you can see here, this is where different people on this political compass do stand, such as Hitler and Stalin and Gandhi. I'm basically like a right-wing Gandhi according to this. Which I guess is kind of right. Gandhi left-wing, maybe left-wing just means skinny. Maybe it's just because I'm fat, so that's why I'm right-wing, see? That could make perfect sense. Anyway, everybody, that is my political affiliation, my political compass test, and until next time, you are welcome, society.